Hi guys, it's Olivia here from Olivia's Catastrophe, and today I'm here to give you my I'm back from Australia book haul. So while I was in Australia, I was aware that I needed to monitor how many books I received, so for giveaway wins and birthday gifts, I did send a lot of them home, as in here in the Netherlands, rather than to me in Australia, and I came home to this big stack of book mail, and I wanted to share with you the books that I got. So let's get started because we've got quite a few to get through. I was just about to start editing and some more books came through, so I'll start with these ones that just came through. The first one is The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater, and this was a gift from Simone, my younger sister, for my birthday. The Scorpio Races, I believe, has to do with racing, and there's a typical kind of race with these mythical creatures in this world, but one person shows up with their very own horse and they are going to be doing things their own way. That is all I've been able to gather, but I actually don't want to know too much. I'm really excited to try and find another Maggie Stiefvater book I can love as much as The Raven Cycle, so I'm really looking forward and excited to read this as soon as I possibly can. I also won a giveaway, and that was from Karen at the blog For What It's Worth. She's a good friend of mine, and I won If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. I have been told many a time that I'm going to adore this book because it has a lot to do with Shakespeare, it's dark academia, and that's pretty much all I know based on Shakespeare and dark academia, and that's all I need to know that I'm gonna probably highly likely enjoy this book. It also has deckled edges, which I know is something not everybody loves, but I love me some deckled edges. And then I'm going to mention a book that's on my way to me, and that is The Map From Here to There by Emery Lord. This is one that was sent to me by Pan Macmillan Australia right before I left Australia, and it was kindly sent on to me by my friend Faye, so thank you Faye for sending it on. It's still coming in the post because everything's a bit slow with everything going on. But this one essentially follows this girl, and she is in her senior year of secondary school. She's got a very charming boyfriend and her life is pretty much perfect, and she's not sure if she can handle it all coming to an end as she has to go to university and all of her friends are going to go to college and spread out across the United States, so she's not sure what's coming for her, and it's kind of her getting ready to go, letting things go, being prepared to go. And I've heard so many good things about Emery Lord from my contemporary bloggers who love to read her books and review them, so I'm looking forward to trying something from her. Now back to the other bit of the haul. The first book I want to show you is Call Down the Hawk by Maggie Stiefvater, and this is the exclusive Owl Crate edition. I got my first Owl Crate just because it was Call Down the Hawk, and I was anticipating this book like crazy. This one is a spin-off of The Raven Cycle, and it follows the Lynch brothers. So not just Ronan Lynch, but all of them, Matthew and Declan as well. I don't want to tell you more than that other than it's a whimsical story and you're in for a wild ride if you do read this one. I would recommend starting with The Raven Cycle and then going on to this book. Then let's talk about the giveaway wins, because there were quite a few of those over 8 months. Say Her Name by Zeta Elliott, and this is a little poetry collection which is all intersectional feminist poetry. And then we have The Gilded Ones by Namina Fauna, which is an ARC edition of a book I was very much anticipating. It's releasing May 2020, and it follows this main character who is 16 years old, and a blood ceremony is going to happen which will determine whether or not she can become a member of her village and community, and she can finally feel like she belongs. However, while her blood turns a different colour, which is the colour of impurity, she knows that she's going to face a fate that is worse than death. However, a mysterious woman shows up at her village and says you can either face your fate or you can come and fight the emperor with an army of girls just like her. I guess she takes the army, and that's what this one is going to be about. I am so excited to read this one. I've been keeping my eye out for it, so hyped. Then I won a copy of City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty on Twitter. I won this from Sam Reading, and I love her Twitter. I've been following it for quite a while. City of Brass is one I've just seen everybody loving, and I cannot wait to read. It follows a character called Nahiri, and she lives in a world of tricksters, thieves, and trickery, and she always dreams that she could escape this city. However, as the saying goes, be careful what you wish for. Cannot wait. Then from Shannon from It Starts at Midnight, I won a copy of Darius the Great Is Not Okay by Adib Kahoram, and this one was really sold to me by Salia from Hustle Season, and it's basically a contemporary about Darius who feels like he hasn't fit in anywhere and he doesn't really feel like himself, but then he starts to meet the boy next door and they kind of spend more time together. I think they fall for each other, and it's just about Darius trying to fit more into his skin, in this relationship and with this person. Next up we have Stay With Me, and this one is by Ayobami Adebayo, and I won this from Shruti's is Lit blog, and I think we're going to try and buddy read this one at some point, which I'm looking forward to. And this one was shortlisted for the Women's Prize for Fiction, and I always do enjoy their picks. This one is focused on the main character, and all she wants is to have her own child, whereas that's not really happening for her and her husband. So her husband's family recommends that he has a second wife or another person to help them have a baby, and it's about them trying to adjust and see if this is something that can work out for their family and relationship, and how it reflects on her as a wife and how she feels about this whole situation. I feel like it's going to be quite emotional, and I'm looking forward to reading it. While I was away, I also won 2, maybe 3 Book Depository amount gift cards. I think they were for £25 each, and I think there were 2 of them, and they just coincided when Book Depository was having a sale, so I chose books that were less than £5 each and was able to get quite a few books within those £25 giveaway wins, which made me incredibly happy. So let's just run through the books that I got. The first one was Letters to Milena by Franz Kafka, and these are letters to Milena that he wrote. I really love everything Franz Kafka that I've read so far, and I want to read my way through all of his works, so this one was also on my list as one that I needed to get to. I got World After by Susan E, and this is one that I've already read, but I read it on my Kindle. I really do enjoy the Angel Fall series, and it's a bit crazy, a bit whimsical and a bit weird, but it's just kind of what I was in the mood for, so I just want to own them in physical copy. Still need to get to the finale, but this is the second book, and it follows this post-apocalyptic world where angels are not good and they kind of ravaged the whole of the earth. And we've got a main character who really cares about her younger sister who's disabled. When her younger sister gets kidnapped by some angels, it's only an angel that is rejected by his own kind that she can team up with to help her rescue her sister. Then I also got The First 15 Lives of Harry August by Claire North, and this is one that I saw around blogs a lot when it came out, and the concept really intrigued me. So it follows August, Harry August, and he always, no matter how he dies, ends up back at the beginning as a young child and does the whole thing all over again until I believe it's his 15th death, when a young little girl comes to him and says, "I really missed you. I've got a message to give you," and it's about what he does after that. I know that Claire North is someone who comes up with some really unique concepts, and I'm just ready to get lost in her world. Then we've got The Talented Mr. Ripley by Patricia Highsmith, and I got this book because I saw it on Book Depository when I was scrolling through for what I wanted to choose from the sale, and the title caught me because in a rap that Drake does, but he uses the words "The Talented Mr. Ripley" in his rap song, and I didn't know it was a book, and so I saw the book and I was like, what? And yeah, I guess Drake sells books to me now. So Ripley is trying to have a new life in Europe. He gets a free trip so he can start all over again, but I don't think things are going to go as planned. Then we have Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin, and these are the first 4 books put into one. I specifically chose this because I loved The Word for World is Forest by her, which I read in first year of university, and I know that Sydney Stories, who I also really like, really loves this book as one of her top favourites, and I did want to read more Ursula Le Guin, so when I saw it was finally on sale, because I have had my eye on it for ages and I had my gift card, let's say, I was like, let's steal this book up and finally read it. I also got Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, and I thought I would give it a try. I know it's a hit or miss for a lot of people, but sometimes, I'm not calling it trashy young adult, that's sometimes just what I need. Something that's not too serious, something that might be full of tropes, but I still could enjoy nonetheless. And that's what it sounds like this book is going to be for me. And because I'm in the mood for science fiction, I got 2 science fiction books. The first one is The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. I just explained that I did want to read more Ursula K. Le Guin, and I got some. And lastly, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick, and this is a very well-known and very famous science fiction novel. I know it happens after a war, but that's basically all I know, and again, I just want to go in not knowing too much. Can't wait to read more science fiction because that's what I was really enjoying at the beginning of the year. Next, we've got birthday gifts. My birthday was in January, and while I did direct some books to Australia, which you will have seen in my Australian book haul, I didn't direct all of them there just because I didn't want to be flooded with too many books, but the first one was gifted to me me by one of my older sisters, and that is Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo. And this one was winner of the Man Booker Award this year, which just puts it in high esteem. It's not because it won the award that I want to read it, but I often just happen to enjoy their picks, and it's also the first time that a black woman has won, so I was just like, I need to read this book, and that's that. And you just follow Britain through different years through the eyes of different women, mostly black, and their experiences as black females in London in different years. I used to be part of a writing website called Young Writers Society, and I know some of them still watch, so if you knew me as Deanie Rogers, hello. And I made friends with my best writerly online friend there, and she is called Taylor, and she gifted me Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid for my birthday. Thank you so much, Taylor. I was so excited to read this book because I absolutely loved The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. It made it onto my best books of 2019 list, and so I cannot wait to read about Daisy Jones and the Six. I know that it follows this rock band which Daisy is part of. Lots of drugs are involved, lots of the rock and roll life, and that's all I really know. Don't know too much except that people loved it, so I cannot wait to read it at long last. Then we've got Lakeisha. She used to be a blogger, but now she's a bookstagrammer at Elle Book Nerd, and she and I just do this gift exchange on each other's birthdays. It's been a tradition that we've upheld for a while, and she gave me 2 books for my birthday. Thank you so much, Lakeisha. The first one is Slay by Brittany Morris, and this is one that I've just been recommended by so many of you, and you've all said that I'm really gonna love. I do love video game tropes, and I know that this one follows a black girl who does make a video game, and it also discusses black culture and racism, so it's just everything that I'll probably like in a single book. She also got me The Water Dancer by Ta-Nehisi Coates, which she loved, which is basically why I want to read it, because she has very good taste in books. It follows a main character who's born on a plantation farm, and he has this special gift that he doesn't discover until he attempts to escape the plantation, and it just follows him on the plantation and then escaping and what comes afterwards. And then last but not least, we have 3 Penguin classics that were given to me by my parents for my birthday. Thank you so much, Mum and Dad. I really have been trying to collect Penguin cloth bounds and also the Penguin paperbacks editions, which I'll talk about a bit more later, but they got me Paradise Lost, which I actually studied this year in my Dark Hero class. I've already read this one and I really enjoyed it. It's kind of a Christian epic that talks about Adam and Eve and also God and Satan in that story, and it was just perfect. It was everything that's up my alley in terms of a classic, and I really enjoyed reading this one. They also got me The Odyssey by Homer, and I've been meaning to read this one for a very long time. If you know me, I absolutely adore Greek mythology, and because most of my friends took epic into novel in first year of university, they got to read this. However, I did not get to because I do English literature and creative writing and didn't take the epic module in lieu of taking a creative writing one. So I'm looking forward to finally being able to read this one for myself and see what I think of it. And then last but not least, they also got me Middlemarch by George Eliot, which is a huge chunker, and it came recommended to me by my friend Faye. I did see this one around before and I was not interested in reading it because it's like a big book. It's a classic, and I thought that George Eliot was a male name, which I guess was the purpose of why she was called George Eliot. However, I found out that George Eliot is in fact a woman, and suddenly my interest was enlarged, and I'm looking forward to reading this one. Well, you know, female writer classics, they're just, you know. And then last but not least, these 4 books arrived here with no note, and I don't know who they're from, so if they're from you, please do let me know, because thank you. Whoever it is must know that I'm trying to collect the Penguin Classics editions, and I talked about that a lot on Bookstagram, so maybe you're from Bookstagram. I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about the books. So the first one is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. And I have already read this one and really enjoyed it, so I unhauled my previous copy so I got to keep the Penguin Classics edition a copy, seeing as that's what I'm collecting. Then there's also The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells, and I don't know anything about this book whatsoever, but I do know that my younger sister has read H.G. Wells and it kind of blew her mind, so I'm looking forward to reading it. Then we have The Sailor Who Fell from Grace with the Sea, and while I know nothing about this book, I feel like I recognize this image, so I'll find out more about this one when I read it. And last but not least, Down and Out in Paris and London by George Orwell. I have read 1984 and also Animal Farm by him. Loved both of them for very, very different reasons. And I've read a number of his essays because they are just a staple in creative writing classes. So I'm looking forward to reading his other novel and seeing what I think about it. Anyway, thank you so much for joining along with this book haul. Those are the 25 books that I received while I was away in Australia, and I think that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comment section down below what are the latest books that you've bought, received or acquired recently. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more, and don't you forget to hit that notification bell to be updated every time I have a new video. And you know what they say, onwards and upwards. Excelsior! I don't know why I've started to squint like this so much in my videos. Maybe I should move the puff. I'm anticipating, and this, it's not even my phone, sibling's phone. She's not here.